Hey everyone, so today I'm going to take some time scouting and starting to learn about some initial thoughts on TSM's new players. We'll see the amount of time that I put into each player at first, because I don't have 6 to 8 hours to invest into this. I have a certain amount of time. I'm not sure how long yet. But we're going to start with doing just gathering some basic information about Shenyi and Kiaiduo, the two new players, the support and mid laner respectively, that TSM announced. Watch some VODs, try to fit some in, speed through them a little bit, and glean what information we can, and just start to get some directional insights on, what kinds of players are they, how much have they stood out in the past. We'll probably focus on Summer Split as the most recent kind of stuff, and pick some things out, and see where it takes us and see what we can learn together. So, I don't really have preconceptions on either of these players of kind of who they are. I know kind of basic biographical information about them, but I'm not coming in looking to confirm ideas that I already have or anything like that. This is going to be a kind of pure exploration, and hopefully it'll be interesting, and you can all kind of come along for the ride. So let's get things started. I'm going to start with Shenyi, partly because I think that at the time that I'm doing this stream, Raz is doing a stream and he's looking at Kiaiduo right now. So if people want to split between them, we're not going to be kind of watching the same thing. But also because I've been a little more aware of Shenyi as the option here. And yeah, so we'll start with that. So we've got his Oracle's Elixir player profile up here. So we see he's 19 years old right now. Looks like he's going to be turning 20 towards the end of the spring split. Thank you to Leaguepedia for that information. For Chinese players, the data is usually relatively thin, but just to get a very quick overview. So he did play 5 games with FPX in the LPL right at the end of the year. Those are going to be the easiest games to watch, and I think I'll probably start by speeding through those and then kind of work back a little bit from there. And of course, with the support, the stats also don't tell us a whole lot, but looks like he went 4-1, high KDA, very high warding numbers in those games. Doesn't tell us a whole lot. Champion pool is much more interesting. So over the past year and a half or so, patch 10.11 to 11.13, Alistair, Nautilus, Rel, Leona. So this is a pretty typical pool, and if we narrow it down to just Summer Split, okay, we got Thresh near the top. And the straight up like Alistair, Nautilus, melee engage stuff drops off a little bit. Not much. They're still there. But, pretty typical pool for this time period. Engage and Thresh. So that doesn't tell us a whole lot, but it does say that there isn't anything unusual. Like he wasn't throwing in a bunch of Lulu games or something. He did have a couple games of Karma, but he's not alone in that. He's played 3 games of Lux support sometime in the past year and a half. Played Pantheon once. So he's willing to bring in some different stuff now and then. 8 games on Taric. That's actually a little bit high. 7 games on Bard. But it mostly sticks to that melee engage kind of pool. If we look at win rate, and let's just say on 5+ games, 7-1 on Taric, won a lot on Bard. Yeah, not a super clear trend here, but some of those less typical picks, like Taric, I'm assuming that was more last year. Yeah, it was all last year, so that was more typical at that time. So, yeah, we'll see what we find there. If we can find a few VODs of him playing something a little less common, then that would be interesting to find. So, the LPL games are on YouTube. The LDL ones are all on QQ, which means sitting through a lot more ads and stuff will just slow things down. So, I think I'm going to start with the LPL ones for the sake of expediency. And then we'll go from there. Do I want to have this sound in the background?
And one thing I'm curious about, right, is the Viego.
I don't know.
The Viego is something that we've seen both of these teams perform quite well on. Both Viego and Lee Sin left open. And
I think it's going to be distracting to me if I have the sound on, so I'm probably just going to leave it muted. Excuse me. So, if we jump way ahead in the draft. Now, I'm not actually sure the context of why he played these last two series with FPX. I assume it was just to, like, try him out and see if it would help. It didn't seem like FPX, like, they weren't like, oh, we're done anyways, might as well try him, but you know, it was probably a matter of like, oh, Chris was injured. Okay, thank you for that context, everybody in chat all at once. So this was like a needed sub in. Okay, well, good to know. So it looks like they're last picking him support after seeing the other bot lane picked, and forgot to catch from the thing. Okay, he's playing Rakan. I like watching Rakan games. I think it tells you a lot about their timing, because Rakan is not like, you got to be careful with your engage times, not only to hit the most targets, but also to, you know, you're pretty squishy. So if you go in at the wrong time, you'll just die. You know, whereas with an Alistar or something like that, or a Nautilus, you know, you're gonna get you're gonna live long enough to get your CC out generally. So. So his job in this game, let's see. Renekton Camille top lane matchup, and then Varus Rakan against Aphelios Nautilus. I think that, you know, FPX could kind of play for either lane. I would expect them to play a little bit through the bot side. No, it looks like not. Like Renekton, Camille's going to outscale Renekton later, but I guess Renekton can have more wave control early. Varus has more range than Aphelios, but, you know, I don't totally know how that 2v2 will normally go. But it looks like LWX and Shenyi are going to try to bounce early and then pull by the time, you know, just in case Lee Sin did path top to bot, although they know he didn't. They have a word in there already. How soon did that word come in? So right here, off of the second wave push, they worded that. So at this point, so they had already started pushing bot lane before they knew for sure what Lee Sin was pathing. My expectation would be they want to, you see Varus used quite a decent amount of mana early. He wants to get, you know, third wave in, bounce it, pull it back, so that by that kind of 350. It looks like they haven't actually pulled it yet, but I don't know if they would have tried to get it pulled back more by this timer to, you know, to make themselves less gankable. Yeah, now it's neutralized out a bit more. But like by the time they discovered that Lee Sin had pathed bot to top, they they could change their mindset a little bit. I guess there was some risk of like some kind of a cheese gank early. Nautilus could receive for the Lee Sin, but I think, you know, that they wouldn't be too worried about Lee Sin cheese ganking them early, because as long as they don't do something really stupid level 1 or 2 and like lose summoners, the worst is that they're gonna have to spend some sums, and then Lee Sin is in a really bad spot and Viego has complete control of top side. So they'd kind of be happy with Lee Sin trying to gank them. So they can push in, they can push in pretty safely early here. They don't mind that they're being gankable. Now that they know Lee Sin, they haven't actually seen him yet, but he hasn't ganked, so now they see him. And now they know they can do whatever they want in the bot lane for now. That's probably a bit of a fake on putting a ward in the tri-brush. You could see that they kind of leaned out of lane for a second there. And just going into fog in general, like, in theory, they could have, during that few seconds window, they could have been sending Rakan mid for a play or something like that. Like, it just puts a little bit of pressure on the enemy team. So, RA go in for a trade. They trade Ignite for Flash and Heal, which is a pretty nice trade. And that leads to a fight over Bot Crab. This is, I'm not really sure if they could have done better in this trade, and I can't even see the full thing, but like, Yeah, maybe they don't. Maybe they should expect to have this because like blue minions are stacking in. It's a good time. As far as I can tell, it's a good time for Iboy and Hong to fight in there. But yeah, it's not a huge deal. I don't think. It's not going to affect anything about FPX's like wave management really. Shenyi is kind of low, but it's kind of a decent time for him to reset regardless, I think. Now does he go mid or bot? Typically you'd want to kind of walk out through mid or at least give yourself the option. So yeah, he's giving himself the option of going mid or bot as needed. Play through some vision. It's a little weird. I mean, the jungler has to be clearing there. So like I wonder if it's a little risky. No, they know, they knew LeBlanc couldn't do anything there. So he's pretty safe to get that ward in. Now he's just keeping eyes on Lee Sin. LeBlanc has to catch mid, Aphelios has to catch pot, so he's totally safe to continue hanging out in river while he waits for LWX to get back. More stuff happening on the top side. I think, yeah, so that was Ignite for Exhaust traded. He's trying to hang out in the minions and not get hooked, but right around here, he can't really, like, there's not much. He just had to try to sidestep it, and he couldn't, which is, that's going to happen. He does take a health chunk that kind of hurts, and his sums are both down now. Ooh, but that baited in for the double TP, or the TP and Galio ult. I don't know if that was... I don't know if that was the... like, the plan, if they were trying to bait that out in a trade, but... Oof. That's awkward. Yeah, you got it back. So now he's deploying into top side for Herald, of course. Let's see in this fight. So team fighting, like, I think the influence is going to matter that much more. So FPX have good setup here. They don't need to fight this. And I think they should feel pretty confident that the tempo they had coming out to this puts them in a place where they don't need to expect a fight, and they don't need to force one. Like compositionally, also I think they don't need to force one. I think in the mid game they'll kind of want to fight. They don't want LeBlanc and Camille to scale up enough to take over side lanes against them, so they shouldn't just. They don't want to drag this game out. And Aphelios, scales well too, but it's not quite time yet for FPX to kind of turn things on. I think pretty soon, like on one or two items, I think, is when FPX wants to try to force some 5v5s. That's what I would read into this game. The Rakan, the Renekton, even the Viego delivering Galio ults, trying to jump the Aphelios before he's strong enough to just kind of blow them all up in short range, which would come later in the game with more items. both teams like can definitely pile onto the enemy bot laners in team fights that are less mobile. You'd rather see the FPX cams instead of my face? I don't know where to put my face then. It's I'm not going to cover the minimap, that's for sure. Oh, you'd rather be able to see Shenyi's face every now and then instead of mine. Okay. I can do that. Make sure I'm not missing anything while I do it. Here you go. Here you go. Yeah, I haven't looked into Kiadio at all yet. We're just talking about Shenyi at the moment. And yeah. So right now I'm kind of waiting to see when FPX make a move. I don't think they're under a huge amount of pressure yet. But it's going to get there in like 10 minutes. And right now they're a little behind the game. And they're down a dragon. Dragon is in 2 minutes. So they're going to use the Herald mid. It's not going to help them secure a dragon. And I think Rare Atom are probably kind of chilling a bit here. Like, they're pretty happy to just avoid anything that loses them the game. Okay. 2 ults and Ignite spent for just Varus ult. I don't even know if Varus ult was used in that or whether it was used before. Okay, Varus ult was used proactively. And then they tried to turn it back around once Viego left. And I think Shenyi is a good, good candidate, probably the best candidate to create these big plays in the mid game. He's the best candidate to deliver the Galio, to catch the Aphelios out. If you can, I think it's gonna be pretty hard to CC chain the LeBlanc, so I don't know about that, but really you want to catch the Aphelios. Still nothing going on. So Dragon is a good opportunity. Like, FPX want to control this Dragon and try to pull them in and get a fight on them, or just take the Dragon for free and play for tempo after. But I think RA should know that it's in their best interests to just avoid a disadvantaged fight. Like, if they can find a pick, then RA should go for it. But here comes the Dragon. Yeah, and so they're just leaving Tiana on it solo, making sure that see, there's the pick that Rare Atom get, and they come off the Dragon. So let's see what we can figure out about. So Shenyi leans over to help just in case if the Lee Sin tries to fight there. Now they have eyes on everybody else, but they didn't have eyes on the Lee Sin, and they want to move into the river before Aphelios Nautilus. So Shenyi moving up river kind of says, like, this is just to make sure we get this dragon. Or if you follow me, I'm pretty sure the actual intention was, if they follow the Rakan, we turn it around right away like this. And we get, like, a little bit of a gold snowball to start moving us in the right direction. But with Doonbei dying mid, it ends up being just kind of a trade. So if Doonbei hadn't died mid, then that was good. And you still get the dragon after, or you could have just taken the tempo after too. The dragon isn't that important there. You can take it or leave it. But they had the tempo for it, which is fine. Now, losing that Herald, I'm not here to assess macro, really. I'm just trying to understand Shenyi, but after that kill bot taking the dragon, maybe they could contest the Herald if they didn't take the dragon. Probably it's gone anyways. I'm not sure. Not the most important thing to worry about right now. We're in like prime time zone for Shenyi to do something impressive and win his team the game here. Or his team could just grab a couple kills to punish the Herald. Yeah, so if they hadn't done the dragon, they probably get the Herald and possibly a kill as well, or or they can use that Herald immediately on the top turret or something like that. But this is fine. I think FPX is pretty happy with that. So Shenyi's covering bot as a wave crashes in here. Yeah, I'm kind of debating whether I feel like Shenyi needed to be bot there to cover, but with the ults up on the enemy bot lane, they could probably 2v1 LWX if they wanted to, so he probably did. So, yeah. For anybody who's just joining the stream recently, just getting started on getting a read on Shenyi first. So far this game, he hasn't had really much to talk about. I don't think he's done anything noticeably wrong, but he hasn't done anything really noticeably right either. A couple of lane trades that maybe could have gone a better way. So he's the last one. So why is he the last one to all this? So he's sniffing in kind of with Viego here. Now is putting a ward on red. He's using the vision vision plant. Is he clearing a ward there? No, maybe, yeah, he might be clearing a... Yeah, so he goes to clear this ward here. Obviously, nothing wrong with clearing a ward, but maybe those few seconds could have been important. So you can see he's the last one out to this top side kind of pressure. I don't really know what they're pressuring for here other than they're covering the tower take, which is actually does kind of make sense. But like I was saying, like he's the best candidate to start fights and deliver the Galio, but he's the last one here. I'm not thrilled about that. It's not a huge deal. So they get the turret, now they want to fight for the blue. See right here, if there's an opportunity, they don't have vision on this group, so they don't know that like if Shenyi had been standing up here, and I think he walked like right here. It's not like he dawdled slightly, but he's just pink warding. But if he's right here right now, and they know that, one just went over the wall, he's not going to blindly engage on that. So, like, I don't know. I don't want to... Yeah, now he only has vision on one. Yeah, I mean, they would have needed to be kind of prescient to see that he had a play option there if he had been standing up on it, but... So, I can't really blame it. But having a little bit more pace into that might have created an opportunity. Might have gotten them a little more info. Now he's moving a 2&B to control mid into bot. Resetting on his own, just for wards, I assume. Nope, he's going to cancel it. Is he canceling it to cover a possible play mid? No, he goes for it anyways. He's wasting a little time here. So he cancels his recall. I'm not sure what he's trying to achieve if he did. Maybe he's hoping that Aphelios walked up on his own. There's a pause. How long? Oh, there we go. He did buy something there too. Stacking dragons is fine for FPX right now, mostly just to make sure Rare Adam can't do it. because you're going to start, you're getting closer and closer every minute to the Camille and LeBlanc taking over side lanes here. Unless you can make good pick plays on them, which is something that Shenyi could do, could be a good contributor to. But I think the time is in Rare Adam's favor. So stacking the dragons, just increases, if Rare Adam can do it, it increases the pressure they have on the game. So FPX getting those dragons gives themselves more of an out and relieves some pressure, but it doesn't directly help them to get into the position they need to be in. Which is that, they want to be able to put some real vision pressure on the game, draw Rare Adam over to objectives and like jump them 5v5 or like threaten to tower dive them or something like that. And FPX haven't been able to do that so far. But they are a little bit ahead. They're still doing fine in this game. Baron is potentially going to become a real pressure candidate for FPX to use if they can maintain control of it. They've got a good vision control window right here, so they cleared some good wards out. There's still that one over the pit that they didn't find. Now they reset for that. They're going to have to come out and retake this vision, but they've got tempo to do it with, because I assume Rare Adam are going to have to back off here pretty soon. You're going to see why Shenyi's waffling a bit. So he gets a late reset here. Was it interrupted? Or did he cancel it? No. I think he got interrupted at first, and then he goes for another one. But now he's hanging around. He must have been waiting for gold. All right, here we go. The engage. I think the first time he's ulted this game, unless I missed something. It's on to iBoy, who's a little bit exposed. They get him, delivers that Galio ult, but it wasn't needed. They already had him. Here we go. Now, is this a good play versus, just an exposure on the other side? So the overall map state coming into this, mid is neutral. FPX have top pushing and DoNB leaning, which I think is pretty important because he wouldn't have been in alt range otherwise. FPX were kind of weak side on the bot lane, but they still had their outer turret up, so it's not very weak. Nuguri has info on Leon and Fofo, so they know there are two here, and I think they must have seen Camille on the wave before, like right around here. Yeah, so they see Camille on the wave. They know that this is two people mid. Like right in just a couple seconds here. Yeah, right now they know, oh, that's two people mid on their own. And we've got three. Boom. That's a good quick use of info. So that is a good play. It's not like some giant mechanical performance or anything, but it's just a RA exposed themselves and Shenyi flashed in. I am going to grab the timestamp of that one if I can, just in case I ever want to use it in some content. Just a nice generic bit of B-roll. Always nice to be able to give myself or an editor a link to use. So they just get the Aphelios, and now they get the dragon. That was a very poor timing for Rare Adam to make that mistake. Because now it's 3 dragons. Now FPX is on Soul Point, which means they know for sure in 5 minutes they get to force that next 5v5 that they really want. But you can see, like, even despite that, RA are starting to take over the map a little bit more with side lane. There are windows. Cube has no TP right now, so what is going on? Oh, I'm in the other window. Let's back that off a little. Get rid of my hotkey spam in my notes. So Nuguri is going to be crashing to inhibitor soon and has TP, but Rare Atom are going to try to force the 5v5 themselves. I don't get this call at all. I don't think they're strong enough for this fight right now, and I don't think they've got map state for it. If they're trying to bait out Nuguri's TP, fine. Maybe that'll work. Nuguri thinks he has time to get the reset off first to shop and come out with home guards. And he doesn't really. So they didn't get the TP, so I guess the thing now we can rush it before the TP comes in. Maybe. But okay, so they get the 50-50 and the initial kill, but like FX has to win this fight, don't they? All right. We're at him win the fight. I'm surprised. You'd think that this would be a great angle for Gallialt is down. Yeah, okay. So they rushed this a lot more than I, not watching it in like real time speed makes it easy to lose track with cooldowns and stuff. Varus and Galio ults are down, which is actually really big. Because if you had Rakarnal going in with both of those ults on top, then you're totally doomed. But with those two ults being down, this is actually kind of a good fight. And they've got all of their ults up. So Doonby flashed in first. And then Shenyi goes in. He gets Lee Sin ulted out right away. Yeah. So actually with those two ults being down, which I didn't realize before, I really like the call by Rare Atom, and FPX could have played it a little better. Nuguri was, maybe 2 seconds off on thinking he was able to greed for the base first before TPing. But, in terms of how this reflects on Shenyi, I don't think there's much more he could have done. He didn't have flash. He ate a Lee Sin ult, which means it was not used on a more important target. I'm kind of okay with that too. LWX is around the back of the pit, not able to do quite as much as he wanted, and Nuguri's a little late. So I don't think Shenyi needed to do anything really different or special here. I think RA kind of outplayed them. It's I wonder how much they got caught off guard, just not thinking about the Aphelios damage to Baron. That classic kind of can kill Baron very fast if you have the right guns up. Might have been part of it. But now you got Baron on the LeBlanc Camille comp. You still have the soul that you can fight for. Oh, Shenyi goes in. There's the combo with all those ults, and Rare Atom were, yeah. I mean, this is where that's exactly what FPX's comp is designed to do, is very quickly go in and blow up a couple of targets. And even if, nobody on their team is really tanky, so even if you can't find the Aphelios, if you can have enough time and space and layer your CC nicely enough, you can get the mobile champions like the Camille and the Lee Sin. And Rare Atom exposed themselves a little bit, but that's what their comp does, is they want to skirmish and move around and be spread out. And they don't want to group up as 5, that's for sure, because then the combo hits all of them. So, exposing yourself is not really, unless it's like before when they're standing up in mid lane and they shouldn't be. That's a different kind of a thing. That was FPX's comp doing its job. In Rare Atom, they could have been played out on the map a lot more, but with Dragon coming up relatively soon, they had to be playing for that quadrant of the map. And, pretty good recognition. I'd say what I'm noticing from this game so far, if anything, is just that when Shenyi has a chance to pull the trigger, he'll go for it. He's not like hesitating a lot or waffling. Like they haven't been like creative engages, but they've been suddenly I've got a timing, go, and he goes. So now they have Ocean Soul. We'll see how much longer this game plays out. Uh-oh. What do we have here? So he's off in the top area. I was looking away to take some notes. He's up here. He's circling back to join his team again. Sees them clearing his control ward. They spot him with the plant. He still walks kind of close to them. I guess maybe he thought he was helping to close a pincer. With his team being able to kind of cut the Rare Atom formation in half if they move up here, maybe he's thinking, oh, we'll catch these guys and the rest. But like, I don't think that's really, especially with Nuguri so far away. This is a mistake. There was no reason not to just surrender a little bit of this mid wave and make sure that they get to group up. But of course, FPX still have the better 5v5 comp. And there were probably some cooldowns spent on killing Shenyi there too, right? What did they spend on him? Just Nautilus. Nautilus ult, and I guess LeBlanc ult, kind of, which will be back pretty quickly. Yeah, Rare Atom got kind of hyped. We got to kill. It's our time. Wait a second, we're still engaging into a Varus and a Galio and in a team with an Ocean Soul. So that's probably game, eh? Maybe not literally, or maybe literally. No. Let's see. Now using that mid-inhib pressure. Baron is alive. Shenyu's engaged doesn't take, but that's okay. He didn't use flash. He knew he didn't have it there. Hello? Not sure what Rare Atom are doing right now. Trying to find a straggler or something. Hoping that FPX don't move together, maybe. Nah, they're not in position to fight this Baron. I don't think they're going to get in position. No. Elder fight, I suppose. Is anything going to happen? Something has to happen. Rare Atom trying to get the the pincer maneuver going on, but FPX are kind of backing out of it wisely. You know that with super minions mid, Rare Item are going to have to. They can't completely ignore that, so it's okay to let this dance play out for FPX. Yeah, there's some tension like to Rakan's positioning here because you want to be in position that you can pull that trigger as fast as possible if you see the opening, but you cannot get Nautilus hooked and lose your team the game by dying first in the fight, or Lee Sin catching you even, or I mean an Aphelios assault for that matter. So you can't expose at the front, but you want to be as close to the front as possible. So it's a little tough. Of course, Rakan can dash the ally and then flash in. He kept his flash. He's got his ult back and all of that. So like, he doesn't have to be too far at the front here. Yeah, he did what he needed to do there. It wasn't much. But I think he kind of maintained that tension fairly well and where he needed to position. He was sometimes a little behind the movement, but not by enough to really be concerned. And that should be game. All right. Not a bad game. So that was a Rakan game. Should we watch another game from the same series? Watch him play a Thresh, a game where it doesn't go well. I try to get a mix of, just when I scan through the games, I get a mix of games in different scenarios, wins, losses, just judging by the KDAs, good performances, bad performances. What RNG game would that be? Everybody wants to watch a Rakan game against RNG, but I'm not seeing it. Is there some data missing here? This would be oracleselixir.com. So it is my website. People are talking about top esports instead of RNG. Well, that makes more sense. It's another Rakan game, but that's not necessarily bad. You can get a thread on the two games in the same champion. Can be useful. I do not know how many mid laners TSM tried out, but I imagine that there was a decent number of players in every position, like at least 3 or 4. So, I don't know. So again, a late pick support. They're trying to get him. I wonder how much. I wonder how much FPX would. I didn't know the stats or anything on how often they would late pick support, or whether this is something they're doing to make Shenyi comfortable because he was kind of an emergency sub in for a couple of series. But that's the previous game that we watched, and this one now going as late as possible. He's still getting, in this case, picking his support blind, but and it's with Varus again. Again, a team of champions that has semi-global ult in the mid lane. A top laner that does well in team fights and can kind of go in and control space really well in a very different way than Renekton, but there's a fairly similar team concept here, I would say. But on the other side, you're not worried about, I'd say, Renekton and LeBlanc taking over side lane, so it's a little different. The pressures of this game or the goals of this game are a little different based on enemy comp. So, sorry, I didn't expect to have that kind of action this early. So, Volibear does 2 camps, bought it into top. So again, they're pathing bot to top with the Varus-Rakan bot lane. So the Varus-Rakan bot lane is pushing early. Xin Zhao does a level 3 gank mid. So again, this is another case where, just like last game, they're pushing in early. Now, let me check what information they might have had here. I don't think FPX have information about Xin Zhao's start. But again, with their own jungler pathing bot to top, they know we can push early and then try to pull the wave back onto our side for, if Xin Zhao is doing a full top to bot clear, we can pull the wave back to our side in time to be safe. If he ganks us during that initial push, Volibear punishes with the pathing, and we probably live with our sums. Now we have an Ignite on Rakan this time, but even so, they should probably be fine. Instead, they get this information on the mid gank, so now they know that they can just maintain that pressure bot if they want to. Doomby survives it with flash. All this crazy topside stuff that doesn't really help me. All this fighting, and I don't care about any of this fighting, except in how it influences what Shenyi does. So they know that they're in this 2v2. Let's see if I can watch that a little slower. Okay, so Leona goes in. LWX cleanses. Shenyi ignites Jackie Love. They get the first blood. And looks like, I don't think they'll get the second one here, but... So that's Yuyenja Jackie Love trying to create something, and... I couldn't see the full way it played out, but they win the 2v2. That's another good clip to catch for B-roll sometime. Right from the start of it here. Oh man, that's so annoying. This makes bad B-roll because you can't start a 2v2 fight in the middle of it. No, that's not good B-roll. No, I don't think we can use that. Oh well. So now LWX is fed early. They're going to get a reset off. Shenyi is a couple seconds later, but that's fine. Now he's probably going to deploy mid into bot just in case there's something, as normal. Yeah. Some supports would definitely run straight bot lane here. But he can still be at the wave at a very similar time to Varus, and he's already a little behind him anyways, but... in case there was something happening there, you want to give yourself that option on your pathing. So now he's here to cover just in case Xin Zhao is coming as that wave crashed in. Did they always have that forward ward? Yeah, they had that forward ward in lane. So they knew there wasn't a lane gank going to come in. I don't know if you can see it. There's a blue ward in the forward lane rush there. So they should be pretty certain that Xin Zhao isn't around. Now, I think they're trying to bait in a fight so that Tian can gank. So Shenyi's trying to expose himself a little bit, but they don't bite. TES has topside control here with the crashes top and mid. Tian's still got at least one of his camps there. And now LWX Shenyi can try to get some pressure on because they know that they're stronger in the 2v2 right now and aren't under any threat. Now TS rotate their pressure top into bot side. All right, here we go. Oops. Who got the red there? It looks like Tian got the red. Could they have moved? I'm wondering if Shenyi could have moved out of lane sooner when he knew that there was pressure on here. Nocturne ult is available. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, as soon as they know Xinjiao's there, Rakan starts moving. But I think as soon as you saw LeBlanc, you should have had a better idea that this was coming. He gets the shields in on Tian, buys a little bit of time for LWX to do the damage and get that kill. Let's watch this again. So I think he W's in just to get in range for E's in. Sorry to get no. E is the shield and W is the engaged one, right? I don't play Rakan. I don't play hardly at all, anyways. I know what skills he has, but I don't know what keys they're on. Yeah. So he didn't but I think the time he bought was pretty key, honestly, to be able to kill the Xinjiao there. Yeah. So yeah, his defense in that play is pretty nice. Now that's one that I think we can use in B-roll. I'm not sure how evident it would be if that was in the background of me talking over something that he's making a good play. But it's a good play, and anybody who's paying close enough attention to what's happening on the screen while I talk can recognize it. And that turns into pretty big win. Here's a question. Which LCS mid laner is going to have his name misspelled a higher percentage of the time this coming year? Kiaiduo or Tukui? Maybe I should run that as a poll on Twitter. Some fun engagement later. I have no idea what their names translate to in English, no. It means cornetto, like the ice cream cone. Okay. I do love ice cream. So in a way, says Science Museum, TSM got cream. It's just ice cream. Very good. Good stuff. This is the content that everybody is here for. Covering a crash. It's actually surprising, given the fights that they've won, that FBX aren't way further ahead. And now the Herald is going in, so it's, Dragon for Herald kind of. But now the gold is actually in TES's favor. Here's something. What window am I in here? So they crash the Herald. Now, is TES greeting here? A little bit. They want to invade jungle on the follow-through of this Herald charge. And since Varus is bot, they should be able to, but they have 2 mid. Like, Yuyanja should be with this group. So they're just arriving now. If they know, hey, we're going to invade into this, Leona should just be running. I'm not sure, and I'm not watching this for this purpose, so I'm not going to let her run and really figure it out, but I'm not sure if they had info on the Rakan and the Volibear, but I think Leona should be with this group by now. By now, for sure. Yeah, it's been a long time. So now they get to engage 4v3. And what did Shenyi do within this? So he's up at the front here. He ults. Goes in. Catches a pretty good key target. That kill, obviously the kill goal matters, but it's good. It's not a huge gain, but also during all of this, they're also buying that much more time for LWX and bot lane. So that kill is pretty influential. It also regains a lot of tempo for FPX. Leading the invade here. Yeah, he's been in pretty good spots in the map. And, that early lane win with the kill and all of that, I think has definitely unlocked Shenyi to be that much more active on the map here. Ooh, goes in. Follows through on that kill. Jaculev could have flashed there. So he's still lingering, helping with the vision there. Now, I almost wonder whether he should have been walking through here a little bit sooner, but no big deal. Yeah. Jaculev just got caught. It'd be very interesting to know how much Shenyi is making some of these calls himself versus following the leadership of his much more veteran teammates who are saying, go, and then he goes, right? And he's just listening well. I'm not saying this to take away from him, but he's also 3-0-2 right now, by the way. But whether I watch it in VODs today or pick it up later or something, maybe in the LDL VODs or something like that, get a better sense of how much he could be leading calls or leading plays as opposed to kind of setting himself up and then going when he's told to go. I don't think you don't really get, from what I've heard when I listen to team comms, you don't really get these scenarios of I'm just going to do what I'm told to do when I'm told to do it. Like, the game doesn't really work that way, but there's a little bit of that could be worth consideration. I'll do a little kind of status check after this game of, after each game, do some kind of general takeaways of how I'm feeling so far. But I think this game is mostly playing out similar to last game in the sense of, he's decent at being in the right position to make a play when it's there. Not perfect. When the play is there, he goes for it. This game, he won 2v2 in lane. Last game, he had a couple of trades that kind of led to losing the 2v2 in lane. So it's a little bit mixed there so far. But different matchups. Gets into the back. So Doonby's starting to push out. Shenyi is helping protect the mid-prio push. Now he's going to, I think, join at the Volibear and the Varus. Okay, all of them are heading bot together. Yeah, and he's just... Yeah, he... I think from the minimap, he marks Jaculev here and makes him E out over a wall. If you watch very closely here. Yeah. Makes him E out over a wall. Can't be part of the fight. So, but I mean, at this point, honestly, honestly, I'm talking about this and I'm getting, like, I have the vibe of this game. Like, yeah, FPX had this game. It's kind of done. But then I look up and the gold is like 1.5k in FPX's favor. And also Renekton is hitting in hit turret. So it actually is close. But it does feel like they're very much in control and should start to pull away. Something happens here. Come out of the replay right into some action, I think. Tian and Shenyi are catching out Knight. Yeah, and it's, and the thing is, like, the gold hasn't been a huge lead, but the tempo, I think it's ever since they got that pick in the jungle earlier, when Yuyancha didn't rotate from mid to support some follow-through pressure, and they got that pick, and I made the comment, like, yeah, they're going to have they gained a lot of tempo here. And FPX have been all over the tempo since then. And that's why I've had this feeling of, oh yeah, FPX are winning this, because they've just been able to move where they want on the map with good timing. We're seeing some of the results of that. Some of the kills are popping up. They're getting picks here and there. They're in a minute or so, if they want, they can grab a second dragon. And I think they scale well. With Nocturne, they should be able to get onto the Ezreal if they need to. I just realized that nobody asked me to move the camera this time to uncover Shenyi. Here. I forget to move it every time. I'll try to remember. They're kind of primed for a backbreaker here. FPX are. One big fight could seal this game. It's like 2,500 gold and a dragon, but it does feel like a big fight into a Baron, or even a medium fight into a third dragon will kind of decide it. They tried a 2v1 Nuguri. That did get him. Interesting. So FPX take over top side as a response, get some good vision. Shenyi stays to clear that one more ward, and he had time for it. That's good. He's not sure if he wants to reset or not. He's resetting alone again. It's fine. So they got to be a little careful here while they regroup. Tim, with all the rosters announced, who is your top 3 in LCS? I'm still working on those decisions. So this VOD review and whatever else I'm going to do when I'm not on stream is part of my prep for, like, forming my opinions on TSM. I've been doing the same kind of thing on other teams. It'll probably be, I'm not sure yet whether I'll be able to put together, like, my preseason power rankings and all that next week. I'd usually do a relatively big kind of production of that, very long written content and so on, or whether it'll be like first or second week of January. I think I'll try. I think with TSM's roster coming out today, I think I'll try to do it for next week, but we'll have to see. Lock-in starts January 14th, so. But at this point, I can't commit to a ranking or anything like that. Let's just see how they play this out. They didn't really lose anything with that with a Nuguri death. Doing B ults for nothing. That was a little unnecessary. That ult does kind of matter. They get that third dragon. So FPX right now, I think, are just going to maintain some pressure. If they can find a pick, they'll go for that. If they see an opportunity to Baron bait a little bit, they can go for that. They've got 4.5 minutes to the next dragon, you know, and you take off 1 minute for setup time. You know, they're going to spend the next 3 minutes or so keeping some pressure on, keeping their tempo up, seeing if they can draw top esports into a mistake. If there is a mistake, they'll punish it. If not, they're just, you know, going to have control of that dragon and play around that. So they've got all 3 lanes kind of neutral. They're now getting mid and bot pushed. They'll probably rotate now for top and then back to bot afterwards for the dragon. Although they can put Gwen top and leave her there. Yeah, okay, so they're going to leave Gwen bot here and then probably in a couple of minutes swap Gwen into top lane to be ready to TP for dragon, I would think. So they just keep that mid pressure on, keep some forward vision. Shenyi is recalling a kind of a dangerous spot, but had enough info that he felt okay with it, which is fine. Maybe they're going to leave Gwen bot this whole time. Huh. I don't think they need to fight here. What do they see that's compelling on this one? So Shenyi is just reset here. They're just maintaining some pressure. They might want to represent that Shenyi is still with them. Like, they don't want to act like they're weak on the map right now, even though they kind of are. Now Shenyi's still walking. But here they definitely should not fight. Okay, so Yuyan just starts it on them. I don't know if they had a read that Rakan wasn't there, or it's just that, oh, they're only 2 exposed. But they shouldn't feel that way. They know Gwen is starting to walk. Nocturne has ult to join fast. Tiana's tanky. Relatively tanky. I guess he's Divine Sunderer, but catching LWX, he also has Cleanse and Flash. They walk out of the... and then counter engage from the Nocturne ult without Rakan there. I don't love that, but it might work anyways. Karsa zones out the Rakan. Shenyi gets on Knight. Doinbe's gonna die. Tian's gonna not die. Nuguri arrives. Yeah. Okay. I don't think like that was very risky. It worked out for FPX, but that was very risky, and I think it was unnecessary. I think they could have just taken that Leona ult, being like, okay, keep their pressure on, and play for either shifting that up into a Baron bait that's a little bit safer now, or just continuing to play out for the dragon. But Doinbe, I guess, was confident that they had that, and it did work out. So either their read is just far superior to mine, which is entirely possible and probably likely, or they just took a risk and it worked. I don't think it was a necessary risk, though. I don't think it was an intelligent risk, personally. So now Dragon's coming up. Knight is on a secret mission here. First impressions of TSM roster, says the legendary Lunk. Well, that's why I'm doing these reviews, because I don't have any first impressions yet, and I'm trying to form them. So lots of mid prio for FPX. Bot, top also is pushed very deep. Nugur creates a big zone. Whoa. Mixionja flash there, even. Now they see Knight. FPX can play for the fight or for the dragon. They don't mind 50-50ing this and losing it as long as they get to fight well afterwards. Yeah, play for the fight is more important. All right, there's a lot going on here. Let me try to track Shenyi in it. I think Shenyi's goal, so Flash is down on the Ezreal. They know that from the last fight. They know that Yunja just flashed. They have been going and blowing up Karsa quickly, but I think it's much harder at this stage of the game. So unless he's like really exposed, they don't really want to try for that. So Shenyi can either be trying to, I think Doonbei is zoning off the LeBlanc, and that's fine, but he could be trying to like protect and like kill the LeBlanc and keep LWX alive. I think Tiana Nuguri can buy a lot of time as too, so he can play for either side of this fight. I think I'd probably lean towards hovering and protecting LWX. So, no. Okay, so he goes in with Nuguri. Yeah, and Doonbei had Knight zoned off hard enough that that's totally fine. LWX has such long range, he can contribute to this fight from there even. He got disengaged by, what, Zinzao out there? Yeah. But he goes back in. Still catches Yanja. Yeah. Yeah, good fight. Not a difficult fight. FEX had good position on that, and we're stronger. Now they have Mountain Soul. This is probably the end. I can grab that fight as a potential clip worth using. It's just a generic, like, look, he's helping win a team fight kind of a clip, but it's good. All right. He had a W prediction on LeBlanc. I missed that. Was that at the end or in the fight? Sometimes I look away from the screen to write notes and stuff. Was it right in there? Oh, there, yeah. That was him going back to his starting point, right? Yeah, no, that was cute. Okay, so a couple of Rakan games. Now, what time is it? I want to do at least one more game on Shenyi on stream, and then I think we can try to do a couple on Kiaduo. So I'm going to have to think about what game that's going to be, and I also need to take a quick break and make some coffee. So, okay, I'm back. Let's keep this going with a bit of coffee. Project Zero says this coffee break was brought to you by www.oracleselixir.com. I choose to believe that the triple W part is part of the vibe of the message you're sending, because I don't know why people put that in front of URLs all the time now. Vast majority don't need it. And it is an absolute mouthful to say. Okay. Actually, one that always gets me and that I find amusing is I watch Brood War now and then, Africa Star League, and Tasteless and Artosis do a cast, and they've got a Patreon to support it. And they always say patreon.com/ASL English. Like, you don't have to say /, just say /. It's completely unnecessary. URLs only take a single direction of /, and they'll probably get corrected by your browser regardless. So, anyways, I love those guys. Let's watch something a little different. We watched a couple of Rakan games. We could watch other stuff in the LPL. We could watch Thrash or Nautilus, but we've also watched 2 wins. So I think I'd like to watch a loss. I'll watch at least one more game of Shenyi, and then switch over after that. And while we're in this little transitionary period here, thank you to everybody watching and hanging out. Hope you're enjoying. If you do sub to the Twitch channel, we've got some pretty fun emotes, and also gives you a special role in the Oracle's Elixir Discord. which you should definitely check out and hang out with us. So appreciate any subscriptions or just you being around and being part of the Discord community and stuff like that regardless. But make sure you check those out. Do I think it's easier to evaluate mids or supports? Probably mid a little bit. Like, more of what a mid laner does is expressed in their actual, on-screen actions. I think supports, it's a little bit more complicated. The kinds of things that they bring out. So, but, that said, it's also like the weight of what different factors you bring to judge a player, between watching their VODs versus, looking at their stats or just scrolling through their game history and their champion pool, stuff like that. Like, the stats and match history and everything is less valuable for supports than it is for other roles, but it's already by far a less valuable portion of the overall experience. So you have to watch a lot of VODs, and you have to train yourself up to know what you're watching for. So I think you have to watch a lot of games for them either way. Why don't we watch Thresh is a pretty big part of his champion pool overall. Why don't we watch a loss on a Thresh and see what that teaches us. This is going to be a QQ VOD. So I'm just going to, last time I opened one of these, it played me a lot of very long ads. So let's see. Oh, and you know what? This time it jumped straight into it. So I'm going to mute it for myself so I'm not distracted. Let's see how far we have to go in for this. We have to go quite far into the VOD for the game to actually start. Maybe this is the one. Here we go. Now, I don't have hotkeys to speed it up like I do on YouTube. Switching the definition of ultra clear 720p for you. All right. I'm even going to do you all a favor and uncover Shenyi's face. Ooh. Here we go. So he is a Thresh. They're playing Kalista Thresh bot lane. Can I safely... Yeah, I can jump back and forward pretty safely here. So why does he have this late reset? I don't know. He must have run out and placed a ward somewhere and then switched to sweeper. He placed probably this ward on the backside of the red buff pit. That's my guess. Whoa. Did you guys see that little message down here that said double speed playback? It's here, which was like a minute after I said, I don't know if I can double speed this. Wow. It's like it heard me. Creepy. I just don't have hotkeys for it. Uh-oh. It's going to lag if I do that. Oh, okay. I clicked and paused by accident. We're good. So, they are playing through bot lane. Gnar can play weak side if he wants to, and he looks like he's going to push into a pull, as we talked about in the other kind of games, but this time for top lane. Volibear pathing top to bot. Now Varus outranges Kalista, but the Kalista Thresh can all in. Beishwan is skipping 2 camps. Ooh. All right, let's... So he's trying to wrap around to gank the bottom lane here. But Lee Sin is there, and bot lane has prio. This is the risk with ganking. Like pushing up bot lane, pushing up your lane to have prio makes you gankable, but it also means that if they try to gank you and you move fast enough, and your mid also has prio. Oof. Is this going to be a go next real quick? Oh no, this is going kind of even. They're actually winning this. Okay, let's watch this again. And keeping eyes on Shenyi. So Beishuan is caught. Varus is arriving late because he got split up from Nautilus. Is Shenyi going to flash play? He flashed in. Did he flash into Hook? He's only level 2. He used Flay there. Huh. Oh, hi, Kays. Yeah. So they won that. I'm a little... It's a little hard to tell exactly what happened. I don't have a whole lot to take away from it. Yeah. Yeah, flash auto and then he flayed afterwards, but like, I don't know. I assume he had Flay and Hook there. I didn't really see him hit the Hook. Might have been a cooldown. I think it's quite a long cooldown early. Maybe in this replay they'll help. And what should he have been doing? He could zone out the Varus, but I don't think he really needs to. I think he's trying to help save the Volibear a bit. Finish off... Yeah, he's trying to help finish off the Lee Sin, which he does. He actually got that. Was that first blood? That's it. Yeah. I think, yeah, going in, like, I'm trying to evaluate between flashing in to finish off the Lee Sin, which maybe he's hoping that gives enough time for Volibear to get one more cooldown out before dying, and that would turn things for them. And it kind of did work out that right. They got the 3-2. So yeah, I think overall that was a pretty good play. Okay, let's go back to doubling this up. So Volibear is continuing to cover bot side. They're using this Prio, go for a very early first dragon. And they've got a really good 5v5 comp up against a Galio Varus set. Yeah, it's pretty good 5v5 on both sides. Oh, but the Galio just like never followed. Or was he coming out of base still? Let me back. So yeah, so he's catching mid. So the Rise goes to help. And this is where Varus Nautilus need to be very scared because Rise is missing and you should know they're on Dragon. You should just be like, you don't need to be standing on this wave at all. And they have their set TP, right? Maybe I should slow this down and watch it at normal speed. So they have TP advantage top, so maybe they're actually intentionally thinking they can go for a fight here, and that Galio can follow with his ult. Shenyi flays the Nautilus out of that, and they kill him fast. Galio ult comes in. Now they're doomed. Yeah, okay. That was... The TP advantage in top lane changed all of that. And actually is pretty good for blue side there. So, FPX thought they were the ones making the play, but they were getting baited. It baited me too. And it just... What was he lanterning for there? Just for a shield on nobody? Oh well. He's still got a pretty fed Callista to work with, and they, FPX have been they're behind in tempo on this play, but like they're doing totally fine. They trade that. They go mid. Almost die. Because Tavares is even more fed. But yeah, trading that and having the tempo after gives them the Herald. So FPX are in a pretty good spot. They got the Dragon. So this is an example where, like, in the previous two games, I was saying he should deploy towards mid, and then he has the option of going mid or bot. This time he's just walking straight with the Callista. A difference there is that, in case this is something you're thinking through like I am, a difference there is, okay, so Nar's catching mid here. They're in the middle of swapping their solo laners between the two lanes, and they have no control over this quadrant. He can't walk in through any of this quadrant, not knowing where. I don't know if they've seen the Lee Sin on this ward. I don't think so. Where the Nautilus is, going into this he could just die. So he's got to walk with the Callista. They could also catch the Callista between turrets and stuff like that. In this case, you like giving yourself those options of being able to move towards mid and look for something if they expose themselves, but you need to walk with your 80 carry there. Defending blue buff. And I think, like, in those scenarios that I've talked about, when he, had a choice of where to deploy out of his reset, I think he's made the right choices on them. But, like, that's not some, like, massive, like, whoa, he's so great. It's just, okay, that's good. General minor positive vibe. Now, in this case, he does have some vision here, and he's got Volibear nearby and Ryze TPing back, so he can deploy through mid. And Callista's already there, fine, farming safe. Isn't going to be, at risk there. So it helps get this wave in. Now they move to Dragon. Yeah, so far so good. Now is there going to be a fight here? I can do this a lot more smoothly with hotkeys, but I'm not going to pause and do research on whether there are any hotkeys. So in this fight, what do I want to see him do? I want to see him... They've got Callista ult. Varus is key target, of course. But, like, good luck accessing him. I think you want to try to hit frontline. I think with Ryze and Callista, you can kill frontline here. So you just want to control this space. Don't let them get on top of you guys. So use your Flay, use your ult. That's not even his fault, is it? So you can stand, like, you totally can stand way up at the front of this, because Callista ult is supposed to be there to pull you out and let the team back up a little bit and keep hitting frontline. But why don't they use it? He gets a flay in. Why does he? I don't know why he flayed the Nautilus in instead of flaying back. And yeah, I don't think Shenyi did anything wrong there. Not really. Like, but they got wrecked. I blame Jingyi. And the interrupt on the TP. Oh. That didn't affect the bot lane stuff, though. So this game is not out of hand yet, but obviously it's getting pulled away from them. Top lane is getting them back in it. There's the Callista ult. Yay! You're still losing a tower. And your mid laner. Okay, I think this game's going to be over fairly soon. Look at the kill score. It's 12-5 after all. And you know that that kill score is decisive because it's in the biggest font and it's in the middle of the screen. One of the first things I teach my kids if they show any interest, you know, and especially the oldest has shown some interest in watching League of Legends with me, and like when he was like 5 or 6 and wanted to start watching with me, one of the very first things I taught him, oh, how do you know who's winning? Not these. Look at the gold numbers. Which one's bigger? And of course, then they have to figure out for kids like 27.3K. What does that mean? They have to learn about decimal points. They have to learn what the K represents. The K doesn't matter really because you can compare without it. But yeah, it's like one of the very first rules watching competitive League of Legends. And then after the gold, you have to look at the dragons and you have to learn about team comps and all that kind of stuff. But if you want somewhere to start, ignore the kills. Almost. Is this going to be it? This is going to be the game? So there is 4. Nar is trying to save something bot. He just lost Mega Nar. This is completely a doomed scenario. They're not 5v5, they're 4v5 and they don't have Mega Nar. Now the Nar's, you know, able to join, but they didn't give up any kills. That's actually kind of surprising. Kind of impressive even. Come on, Max. Finish this game. What can they do to get back in this? So they could possibly 5v5. You know, I think they can still win a 5v5. It's hard, but they can do it under the right circumstances. So they just got to make sure that they are putting themselves in positions where they have a shot positionally. Like where they're standing, is what I mean. Obviously, you know, when you've got a Thresh and you've got a Rise ult, you can try to find a pick on a side laner maybe, but it's going to be pretty hard to pick off one of these, I think. It's possible. It's doable. And it's an 80 Shen, or set rather. The set is like quite situationally tanky, but not super tanky. Get a pick on the mid laner. Okay. Now what have you exposed yourself to in order to do this? They're making a good, like, a good play from bot to mid with some tempo there. Oh, he missed the hook. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether he hit it or missed it. It saves him like half a second. But there comes the Galio ult, and of course they're kind of doomed on this. Rise can't join. It's worth, I think this is worth trying. And they might actually, no. It's worth trying because, like, they're losing otherwise. But making that play against a Galio is pretty tough. Like, this is where, like, it's easier to make a pick onto the side laner in a 1-3-1, for example, because you can't, like, a teleport coming cross map takes longer than a Galio ult. And if you make the play into mid lane, then the Galio can reach it no matter what. If you make a play full map across from Galio, he can't help. Only, you know, then it's the set or the Galio TP that can help. All right, I think this game is done, and we know that they lose it. So we can move on and watch another one. A lot of wins here. Should we watch a Braum or is that too boring? Karma's too boring. We watched a couple of his LPL games to start. We've watched his 2 Rakan games in the LPL. We could watch him get a win on Thresh. Or should we diversify a little bit more? Or we watch Nautilus against TES. Let's go with that one. You know, he's engaging like on Rakan, but it's a different vibe to it, and of course the laning plays out differently and all that kind of stuff. So in this one, they picked the support after the enemy support. We watched 2 of his other LPL games, and they saved the support pick as late as possible, trying to give him, you know, picking into his matchup. And here, of course, you know, it went Viego into Lee Sin Thresh. No support bans. No Aphelios ban only. So it's pretty easy to just pick into the Thresh. With the Varus again, was LWX playing Varus like every single time? I like Braum as well, but I think he's not the most compelling champion to watch if you're trying to learn about a player. It's, you know, I'll watch those off stream on my own, maybe. I'll watch more of his games, but this is probably the last one I'm going to watch of him on stream before moving on. So, I want to get the best value out of it while you guys are investing your time. Too far. Okay, so we saw him do this in the LDL game. Runs out straight away, puts out a ward. This time it's a lane ward. Wait, no, that's the Thresh doing it. He's the Nautilus. Sorry, gotta move my camera to the other side. The Thresh did it. Yeah, people have mentioned the game where Kiaduo and Shenyi play against each other. As I mentioned kind of off the top of the stream, I prefer not to watch them playing against each other because then I have to try to track 2 players' kind of decision-making and map states and all that kind of stuff at once. And I think it's hard to learn about 2 players simultaneously relative to focusing on one. So I'm probably not going to watch them both at the same time. So the Nautilus runs out, wards the middle of the lane. Does he reset for sweeper? Yeah. So he does do that. Goes out to lane. Okay, so with adjacent top lane, you're expecting Jace against a Lee Sin. Man, it's been a while since I watched the Lee Sin lane matchups. I'm not sure who gets her early prio there exactly. Varus, Nautilus, you know, outrange a little bit. Can they control that lane early? I think so. And they can push pretty fast with like Nautilus E once he skills it. I'm just trying to think of like what I would expect the junglers to do. I would have expected Viego to path from bot to top here. But that's based on the idea that Jace would get control of lane over Lee Sin, and that might be wrong. So we'll see how it plays out because they're both pathing top to bot. Ooh, early level 1 trading. So since they have Viego pathing top to bot, LWX and Shenyi are letting the wave come in early, and now they're going to try to bounce it back out because they want to be crashing their wave as Viego arrives in their area. So like 30-ish seconds from now. But the Olaf clears his top into invading bot. LeBlanc has prio. So that's that standard flow, that very common flow of, you know, wave movement and jungle pathing got disrupted by the Olaf doing something different there. Now they dive mid. Solo kill first blood onto Knight. What? LeBlanc has prio here and his Chunk Doinby to like 30% health. Thresh can even move, decides he doesn't need to commit here. Now Knight thinks, we got him. He could be recalling here. But he's harassing instead, which is like, I don't know, I'm not saying he had to do one or the other. And there's enough of a vision. There's a question mark, there's a red question mark being in the jungle there. You're like, oh, where's Viego? Oh, he walks out, and now there's a red question mark ping right here. I don't know why I found that so amusing. Guys, we don't know where Viego is. Well, I do. He just stunned me. He didn't dodge the stun, didn't flash it. There they trade flashes on that stun, and then just finishes them. Sorry, I had to play that out, even though it doesn't mean anything for Shenyi, but it was not a good death. Karsa is setting up to lane gank here. Is he going to go for it? All sums are up. There goes the ignite. They go in. The instant TP from Galio. Was that a hook here? So he flashes out. He gets flayed and he flashes out. Hooks in. Ooh, gets Jaculov. Forces the cleanse. Doinby does some work. Yeah, so the TP advantage mid from having killed Knight works out there. Of course, Doinby is going to fall further behind in CS here. But he's not going to lose that many. Yeah, he played that out pretty well. I can clip that. This is a Doinby play also set up by the Tian gank more than anything, I would say, but Shenyi did his job. There we go. So what next? Now, so here's a case of they have no vision control in their bot quadrant, but he's still deploying through it because Galio is present there, and they have question mark pings and all off in top. They see LeBlanc, so they know LeBlanc's not there to do anything to him. I think they probably suspect these recalls. If not, yeah, I mean. And they have a exclamation mark there. So he knows it's safe to deploy through there. If Doinby didn't have TP advantage, that wouldn't have gone well for FPX, I think. Yeah, but if he didn't have TP advantage, they probably would have positioned entirely differently on those waves. Okay. He spots the control ward and clears it while there's a play happening top. Now he's going to get info that Thresh is up top side. So now they know they've got a window of 2v1 bot. What are they going to do with it? They should try to crash this as hard as they can. Maybe take a plate. Or at least some harass. A little bit of chip. Yep. Good. Don't overstay. Make sure you play for tempo here. Okay. So again, there's information. I'm backing up a bit. There is information continuing to flow out of the top side, so they know exactly where Thresh is and that he's still kind of en route. They know LeBlanc is resetting here. They see that. They know Olaf is up near around Herald, so they know that they can continue to pressure bot side. Otherwise, there isn't really gold to spend right now. I think they've spent relatively recently. So now they start to work on some river control. They're gonna keep pressuring here, and I think this is a good call because they don't really have anything else to spend their time on. So they're just continuing to pressure there and to keep Thresh pinned down. Now they're resetting together. He's deploying all the way into topside because it's Herald time. Yeah, and that pressure that stayed. Yeah, this is good. They stayed longer, like 1 or even 2 waves longer, in that bot lane together. When I thought they could have taken that first plate then reset, but given the time on the clock, like that was just my impression, kind of in a void, for the sake of like general tempo. But given the time on the clock, that it's 6:30 right now, it's too soon to take that tempo and go topside and try to control Herald with it, because Herald isn't up for another minute, almost minute and a half. So they stay for the extra 2 waves. So here's the first wave, the cannon. And they stay for this wave as well, just clear that one. Or not quite for the next wave. But this is the one they reset on to be there for Herald. So that was actually, yeah, quite a good read. Now, what do they do with this rotation? They know they've got a ton of tempo over the enemy bot lane. They see LeBlanc mid. So they're on the Herald. They get it. Now they can just... Do they want to fight here? I think they can. I think Kallista's pretty weak and is late to this fight. I think Varus is going to offer more right now. Especially if they could see the itemization, which they won't know right now. But like with the boots on Kallista, it's going to be pretty tough for this group of champions to kill somebody fast, especially if you get a Galio and a Nautilus in there. So I think, yeah, this is a good fight for FPX. Galio ult is up. So they don't have to just take the Herald and leave. They can totally look for this. Lands a hook. And they go. The taunt gets interrupted. But the resets are happening anyways. Boom. Game. That was one where I think probably TES should have given that up. He kind of threaded the needle on that hook too, didn't he? So I think if you leave Kalista Thresh bot here and just give this one up and think we're probably not in good condition to fight and we're late on tempo. This is the classic like choice around a Herald rotation. Do you rotate or do you leave it and trade? I think they should have traded. Yeah, he hooks the Nautilus just past the Olaf, which is good because the Olaf had ult. So that was a good hook. I'll grab that hook, potentially. I'm getting like too much B-roll now, but... So we'll play the rest of this game up pretty quick here. See if any more twists and turns happen. But that should be basically the game, I think. As long as they don't throw next, because yeah, they're gonna get the dragon too. So now they're going to catch a push bot lane. Oh, they didn't go for the dragon. They had fully moved for it, but I guess they changed their mind. That that fight at Herald is again like he and his team were in good position. The enemy team exposed themselves a bit, and he took advantage of it. Like a pretty standard kind of player engage, but if you make the standard plays, that's good. I haven't in these games so far come across something where he did something that I thought was really like creative or really game altering, but you don't necessarily need to find that. And you know, I'm watching a pretty small sample of games so far, so it doesn't mean they're not there. They trap in the brush. Double TP comes in to follow. Oh, Knight TP'd first, didn't he? Yeah. The reverse trap. Who did he ult there? He just ulted Jakulev. They turn around. They let Jakulev run. I mean, finish somebody here, and not the LeBlanc clone. It doesn't really matter. They won it without kills, but kills win more. Ooh, he hooks into the Olaf, forces the ult. They're gonna get the turret. Yeah, they didn't need to get 3 kills there, but if they got them, I think they could have, but it doesn't really matter. And they might not get the full turret. LWX maybe could have gotten one more plate if he stayed, but this is a smarter call to take, to keep the tempo going here. Got Nuggery. I'm trying to think of like what the next phase of FPX's game plan is here. They can do kind of whatever they want. They could start playing for dragons. Like, what do they have to worry about is like Jace getting picked off a few times. They're just going for a 2v2, trade some ults. Oh, they got the kill. Wait, what? So they've got pressure mid, and they're trying to establish pressure bot. They engage here. Yuyenja comes out with the ult. Now he goes back in because he wants to. Oh, there's a red TP coming in, but it's coming in much later. Did he hook in on that turret? Did he miss on Jakulev, or did he hit? Oh, yeah, he hooked in and he died. So since he died, the hook brought him all the way under turret. Yeah, whatever. That'll happen. I don't mind that. That's just like, yeah, oops. I didn't realize you guys had so much damage. Because if that hook hits before Jakulev's eyes, then it's totally fine. Yeah, legitimately unlucky. That's the right way to describe it, B-Web. All right. Let's finish this off. I'm just going to jump ahead and see if there's anything else worth watching. Uh-oh, Nuguri. Uh-oh. They're going to pick you off. They're not. Because if they do, Shenyi's going to get you. Get themselves a herald. Something happens here. So I'm continuing to get this vibe from Shenyi that like I'm not seeing highlight so far in the games I've watched. I haven't seen highlight plays or super dumb mistakes. You know, there have been some above average actions and a couple below average things in lane in that first game. But overall, like, he feels solid, and he's feeling solid in these LPL games too, which is pretty good. I mean, he's got very veteran players to work with here, but like, I'm getting a very like even keeled. What is that chart? Is that supposed to be like a heat map of where they're standing, or is it where they placed wards? Or I can't tell what that chart was supposed to be visually. Yeah, I'm not getting like raw, unpolished vibe off of him. So, his vision control, I've seen like, you know, it seems again like pretty standard. Nothing has really stood out to me unusually. There have been one or two wards he cleared that I'm like, maybe the tempo was worth more than the clear there. Like there was that one time that he stayed to clear a ward, I think somewhere around bot side, and then, oh yeah, he stayed to clear ward there before resetting and then was late and maybe could have made a play up there. It's pretty minor, right? I haven't like specifically been watching for like where and when he places his wards, but nothing has jumped out to me. But overall, he's coming across as like a reliable, solid, and for a player with this little experience, I think that's a pretty good place to be. Ooh. Was that hook supposed to get him out? I think he was trying to like finesse it around the edge of the terrain here and hook into there to get out, but nope, that just didn't work. So he had to flash. Here comes the gallery TP just to ensure the disengage. I haven't really seen a sense of like him putting himself in positions to make big plays. Maybe I've been watching more of those like end of summer LPL games than I did of the LDL games, but so maybe I'll see it more in the LDL. But like, you get the, you know, like Hylissang is maybe one of those like most forward looking examples of, I'm going to put myself in a really creative, unique position to make a huge engage. And really catch them off guard. I haven't seen him looking for those creative or unique angles. And so I just want to pay attention to this. Yeah, but I have noticed it is a bit of a consistent trend that he's 2 or 3 seconds late to be ready for a fight to break out. Like his resets. Well, I'm backing up to find the timing on this reset. It's after the Baron. So the Baron happens. They leave. And I don't know if this is because he's like... so he was like first to reset out, but not the only some of the team reset. Now he's standing around in base doing what? Right here. Does he buy an item? Is he waiting for gold for a control ward? But he could be standing on the edge of the base at least. Nope, he doesn't buy a control ward. He wasted like 2-3 seconds there. And those 2 or 3 seconds, he could be standing on the Galio right now. His hook should be back. Did he buy 2? Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong side of the inventory. I was looking at Thresh's for some reason. Okay, he did buy 2. But like... So he's waiting, he sells his potion and his cloth armor. No, he undoes the sell on the cloth armor. Buys... Yeah. So he buys a bit. Anyways, I still think like he definitely wasn't waiting for gold. Because he could have just bought one control ward instead of two. And like in this specific situation, him being 2 seconds late to the fight and not being able to contribute again, like he wasn't really needed. So I want to be clear on the level of criticism that I'm levying here, which is very minor criticism. He was like 2 seconds late to that fight and didn't contribute to it because he waited in base, I assume, long enough to get gold to buy the second control ward. Big deal. Like, who cares? The only reason that I'm bringing it up is because I've noticed, like, I'd say 3 or 4 times in these games that I've watched that he's been 2 seconds late or half a map or half a screen away from standing somewhere where he could have made a big influence in a fight and be able to land something, right? And when something shows up 3 or 4 times, now I start to pay attention to it. If I noticed it the first time, I go, whatever, right? Sometimes you're standing half a screen away from where you should have been because your reset was slightly later. But when it keeps happening, it means I'm going to keep watching for it and see if it is happening in other games too, to find out if it turns into a trend, because it's the start of a trend. But like, if I go through a lot of VODs and the worst negative things I have to say about Shenyi are, I didn't see anything super creative, and sometimes he's 2 seconds late leaving base and gets to a fight too late. Like those are like the mildest criticisms I can think of. So put it in context, right? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh. That was a good punish. So Yanja goes for the hook here, which means he roots himself briefly. He's like, oh, I got you. And Shenyi's like, nope. Got him. Okay. So we mostly watched LPL games, watched some LDL stuff. I will be watching a lot more off stream of him, and of course, since I've watched most of those 5 LPL games now, most of the rest of what I'll be watching is LDL, and that'll bring some more context. But I want to switch over. I mean, this game isn't over yet, but it's over. There's nothing else worth watching, right? So, I could spend a lot more time, and I will spend a lot more time on my own watching Shenyi VODs, but we're gonna switch over here pretty quick. He missed a hook. I think he was predicting the LeBlanc there. Oh no, he wasn't. The LeBlanc dodged it. All right. So, give me a moment to reset.